First matter
Can
on
you-
the,
Oh, wait, hold on.
yep.
Now you can see me.
There you go.
Oh, no,
Maybe
wait a
you want
minute.
it, maybe
was
you
better
want it
before.
no video better. No video better.
All right, let's have a vote on that. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
it was better. Yeah. Do alternates get to vote on that?
Yeah, on,
Phil,
always on
be
that.
careful, Phil.
Go Chip.
Alternate for now.
Okay, the first matter on the agenda is the approval of the minutes for September 1st, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the September 1st minutes as written.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, are there any objections to the minutes being approved? Seeing no objection, it's unanimous. Second was by Chris, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
What's the official count, Joe, just so I have it correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I got 6.
6. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
Well,
you.
Jerry's down there. You got him?
Yeah, I got Jerry.
Okay.
That's 7 then.
Yeah.
Okay, 7. Thank you.
All right, the second matter is the Greenwood School project. Why don't we just get an update first and then we'll head to the invoices. Anthony, you want to give the whole committee an update?
Sure thing. I'll break it down into, I'll pop my video on. I'll break it down into the 2 scopes, kind of the roofing scope and then the handicap or the accessibility upgrade scope. So for the roofing scope, I want to say as of the end of not last week, the week before, the sheet metal edge trim work on the edge of the roof had pretty much completed. So at that point, Greenwood was kind of cleaning up the roof, getting their debris off and remaining debris, all that stuff. So from here on out for the roofing scope wise, there's really 2 remaining items. One is the gravity vents, which is slated to come. The new ones are slated to be delivered to Greenwood shop end of October, and then they can truck them over whenever. So they're shooting for a late October install. And then once those, they're going to rip off the old ones, put the new ones on a Saturday, flash up to them on the edges of all of them. And then that should be it for roofing scope, besides the fact of they have to clean the roofing membrane as it is right now. So they're currently working with their manufacturer rep to come up with a plan to put on a letterhead that says the manufacturer approves this cleaning plan. Once that's approved, PMA, Greenwood, and Sarnafeld are going to walk the roof, make sure we're all on the same page. From there, Greenwood's going to clean the roof with that approved plan. And then we will walk with the town of Wakefield, presumably Jerry, Joe, and Chip, present the roof, or I should say Greenwood will present the roof, and then any areas unacceptable, they'll have to overlay with new roofing membrane. So that's the scope for the roof. For the accessibility scope, the only remaining scope on that item is the permanent railings, which are probably 60% done. They're going to come in Saturday and put in the rest of the permanent railings. And then if there's any touch-up work that they have to do, they'll be doing that Wednesday when kids aren't there at the school. But as in regards to the security hardware, the ADA push plate, all that's been tested. It works perfect. The bathroom, the toilet isn't flushing perfectly. So the plumber actually ordered a new valve and he's going to install that whenever that comes in. But again, on a Wednesday or a Saturday. And then once that's installed in the bathroom, there should be no issues, should flush correctly. And at that point, there's really no remaining ADA scope. The locks have been installed. The plumbing pipes in the janitor closet have been insulated, put PVC jackets on those. So that's all squared away as well.
Any questions regarding the update?
I have one, Anthony, sorry, I wasn't on the call today, but the structural engineer's review of the ramp, where do we stand with that?
Yes, they're coming out Wednesday at 1 p.m. meeting with Greenwood and then L&L, who has the 2 carpenters who have built the ramp.
Okay.
Has the proposed change order for the air vent, gravity vents been settled yet?
So they've been,
We're going to deal with that. We're going to deal with that in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah. But the update for that item is they've been proceeding under protest probably since the past month to 6 weeks. So they still don't think they own it, but kind of what Joe said, we'll touch on that in a minute. But no, it has not been, I should say, rejected or accepted.
Are they installed?
So they've been delivered. They're being manufactured. I should say they've been ordered. They're being manufactured. They're slated to get delivered from Buckley Associates to Greenwood's yard late October. And then at that point, Greenwood's just gonna bring them onto site on a Wednesday or Saturday and perform the scope then.
It's a fabrication thing, is from what I understand, right?
The long lead time, yep.
I just don't know how those events affect the general ventilation in that school and everything else going on. If critical, make
Yeah.
it a little more critical than it was maybe a while ago.
There's
I don't
no
know if they're
mechanic-
tied in any way or what their purpose is really, but
No, it's kind of what it's almost like an updraft vent, but there's no
Yeah.
mechanical units tied to it. There's nothing like that. And the existing ones are still there. They didn't remove them yet.
oh, okay.
So they temporarily flashed around those with the roofing membrane. So then when they come in October to rip the existing ones off, they'll put the new ones on, do the flashing, and then that's it.
Cool. Thanks.
From what I'm told, Phil, the DPW is fabricating like some fans and stuff for the windows and stuff for more air exchange.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding the update? Seeing none, let's go to the invoices. I emailed you the invoices from Gale, PMA, and Greenwood. So let's start there.
Start with Gail.
Chip, do you have those?
Let me just, I do. Let me just confirm the numbers with you. For the Gale, it's 15,738.77.
Correct.
With PMA, it's 24,654.40.
Correct.
Greenwood is 346.25.
Right.
And Gale is 5,340.
Correct. We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, but those are the numbers.
Yep.
Yes.
Geez, I read them right.
The
All right.
last one's the extra one?
Yeah, we'll deal with
We'll
that.
get there.
That's more of a contract amendment, not an invoice.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Jim,
so
you-
does anybody have any questions on the Gale invoice? Hearing none, I move that we approve the invoice for Gale for this month for the sum of 15,738.77.
Second.
Seconded by Chris. Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion, and I'll try to get everybody, we have to get a vote here. Chip,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Who'd I miss?
I don't get a vote, right?
No.
Yourself.
I think you're the
Joe.
sixth. then.
Okay.
Joe B.
And myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
that gives you 6.
That gives you the 6.
Yep.
Okay, so
I
it's
got a
six.
long list of people here on here, and
Yep.
go ahead.
I move, does anybody have any questions on the PMA? This is pretty straightforward. I move that we approve the 24,654.40 for PMA.
Do I hear a
Second.
second?
Second.
Second by Chris. Any further discussion? Seeing no discussion. Chip,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and myself. Yes.
Hi,
Did I
Joe.
say
This is
something
Tim.
wrong, Joe, or
Huh?
Wait.
did I say something wrong?
No, why?
Oh, your face left.
Just giving Phil a relief. Go
Hey,
ahead.
Joe.
All right. On the Greenwood invoice, are we good with all the numbers, Anthony? The left to complete, the retainage, all that, everything's in order?
Yep, everything's in order. So retainage matches up. The left to complete matches up. They actually already sent us the September rec with the August one, which we said we're not reviewing September till August is approved, and then September gets revised based off August. But yeah, we're fine with the numbers. It's been reviewed by myself and Gail, so we're all set.
Okay. I move that we approve the invoice from Greenwood for $346,346.25.
Seconded by Chris. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Chip,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and myself. Yes.
Joe, I will be right back. Start the next conversation.
All right. Anthony, let's talk about Gale
Joe.
Associates.
Emmy, Tim Demers.
Hello?
Hey, Joe,
Hey.
this is Tim Demers. Sorry, I
Oh,
was having
Tim.
some tech difficulties there.
Okay, Tim, all I got is your phone number. Okay, sorry, Tim.
No problem. Thank you.
Have you been able to hear this?
Yes, I have.
And do you have any objections or questions regarding any of the invoices?
I have no objections.
All right, and would you approve all three?
Yes.
All right, make it 7 then, Anthony.
Okay, Tim, are you okay with the
Demers.
meeting minutes from last meeting as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sorry, Tim.
No problem. I was having technical difficulties on my end. Thank you.
Don't worry, so was I. All right. The next one, Anthony, you want
Joe's lagging out there. I'm not sure if anyone else is hearing him.
Yeah, he's going off the
to,
wire.
hopefully you're able to get it?
He wants you to talk about something, Anthony.
Good timing. Saved by the bell. All right, Joe, can you? I think
Anthony,
you're
you want to
back.
explain Anthony, you want to explain the,
Yes. So it's not an invoice as we kind of talked about earlier. It's an additional fee request. It's essentially Gale's request to the town of Wakefield for more money to administer the rest of their construction administration costs and throughout closeout. So that amount is for $5,340. And what, in Gale's opinion, stemmed this additional fee request was the back and forth. I think it's 5 times total on the hazmat submittal review with the Greenwood and their associated subcontractor, who they actually had to, I think after the 3rd time, had to get rid of their initial subcontractor and get in a new one. And then the other part, and that is for roughly $1,900. Then the other part of the breakdown of the additional fee request is for 2 additional site visits for construction administration. Those site visits in Gale's estimates between coming to the site, travel, mileage, reports being issued, etc., is $1,700 roughly, maybe $1,800. So that gets you up to, if you do 2 of those, get you up to the $5,340 amount. And again, those additional site visits, which we've talked about with Joe, Chip, and Jerry separately, we think Greenwood has responsibility in that, but we try to separate the issues for now because in order to get Gale out here to complete the job, are they due money in the opinion of us in the town? Yes. I'm not saying it's the town's responsibility fully, but in order to get them to finish the job now, this is what they're requesting to get paid for.
and I'll just point out that they initially requested $7,100 some dollars, but
Oh, he's breaking down again.
it's down, so now it's at 5,340.
Seth, I just have a question here, Joe. Is that all right?
Yeah.
I realize this is not a lot of money, but it's like the bad contractor that was hired is not exactly our fault, and they caused extra meetings and got fired. I mean, that's not our fault. And
Chris, let me cut you off there. What we have to first do is approve the contract amendment. Who's paying for it is another story, okay? We've had discussions regarding that, and we'll explain it.
okay, I'll trust you.
All right.
No, we're not paying.
Well, hold on a second. This is Kevin.
Kevin.
So
Let me explain to everybody. The town has to pay it,
there you go.
okay, from the invoice. However, there's an issue regarding the gravity vents that we're going to explain later. And that's how it'll be worked out, okay? What we just have to do.
You're freezing, Joe.
It looks good frozen like that, though, doesn't it?
We're
On
reenacting my second graders day on Zoom.
You got cut off at the end there.
Can you
Joe.
hear me, Chip?
Now we can.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I
let
gotta
me just, let me see, let me take a stab at this, Joe, because you're frozen again. This is an extension of the town is going to pay the $5,340. It's a bill the town owes. Gail did the services. We have to pay it. Chris, you are right that the town should not take the burden for that. So at this point, we're talking, there's a number of things in play. The gravity vents are in play. There's damages for Greenwood not completing on time. There's a bunch of pieces. Anthony, jump in anytime you want.
No, you're doing fine.
When we're all said and done, we take all these pieces, the gravity vents, which they, that Greenwood owes, and we then, like we did in past projects, Chris, we say, okay, 5,000 here, 45,000 here, you owe us 30,000, it's a wash. Whatever it comes out to, that's the next step of negotiations. And that's what PMA is in the middle of doing. But we need to keep Gail working. And so that's why we're gonna hopefully approve this tonight.
But that doesn't, and I'm not saying I'm objecting this way, but I want to understand. So are we creating a precedent by doing it this way?
No, we've done this before. We did this a number of times at the Galvin, pay for a service rendered and then go back to the contractor and say, you should have covered this, or this was your fault. And then we negotiated a number for a change order or whatever afterwards. So there's no precedent here.
Joe, if I can jump in, it's Kevin.
Yeah.
I think we're following in the strict reading of the contracts where we have two separate contracts. The town is contracted with Greenwood and the town is contracted separately with Gale Associates. So there is no obligation between Greenwood and Gale. There is no contract between the two. So we have to assess, is it additional services? And then why? So we feel, yes, it was additional services. And actually Anthony and Joe, the change order team, negotiated that down. But now we'll seek to recover that cost because it wasn't at the fault of the town. It was the fault of Greenwood. So then we would extract that from Greenwood's contract.
And the scheduling delays, like, where does that fall back on?
That's all part of it. So I've put together a cheat sheet that I'm going to share with Joe, and it's going to be confidential. And I don't want to get into too many details because we always say this could lead to a claim or they might not accept it. So we're not going to negotiate against ourselves. This is something that I think typically goes to an executive session type of thing. But so Anthony and I have extracted from the contract the liquidated damages amount, the substantial completion actual versus scheduled. We put a value to that. We then further determine what the damages to the town are in terms of back charges because of these additional services to the architect. There were some other items that Greenwood already paid for, like damages to the roof, the ceiling, not the roof, and some cleaning, so we'd credit them that, but we were never charged for it. And then there's a bottom line number. And as Joe suggests, we'll compare that number to the claim amount of the gravity vents. There's a delta there, and we'll negotiate that as close to zero as we can. That is our intent, is to get it for zero.
I got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none.
I move that we approve the $5,340 as a change to the contract, as an addition to the contract.
I'll second it.
Who seconded?
Jerry.
Jerry? Any further discussion? Seeing none? Chip?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
And Tim at 978.
Yes.
And I say yes. All right, any other issues on Greenwood?
Talk about the gravity vents? Did you say there was something to talk about or there isn't?
That's what we're talking about, the negotiation we're gonna have regarding the.
Oh, just that. I thought that, okay, nothing
No.
else. Got it. Okay.
Yep, yeah.
Sorry. Yep.
That's all right. Sorry, I'm getting noticed my internet is unstable. I thought it was just me.
It is.
All right. Anything else on Greenwood? We'll go to the next agenda item. That's public safety OPMs. Everyone got the proposals from the 8 different companies.
Yeah.
You were asked then to provide us with your choices as to who you would want to interview. And Chip, if you could disclose the results of those.
Is there a drum roll or anything here? or-
All right, well, let me work on it.
All right, so first of all, I want to thank everybody for getting back to me. Everybody did it well. I think I think I made a mistake. Some people ranked, some people said, here are the 3 I like. So what I did is I just, if let's just for instance say left field was one of your choices, it got a check. And so the numbers by no, and then if somebody listed like, here are the 3 I like, and left field happened to be the first one they listed, that was a 1. So I'm not sure about everybody's 1, 2, or 3 rank, but it was pretty clear, and I'll go through the numbers now, that there were 4 that stood out, that there were a number of people that they liked and didn't like.
I never sent mine to you, but let's see if I agree with everybody else.
Chris, I wasn't going to call you out as being the only person that didn't respond.
I did review them all today, and I have my choices, but.
Okay, well, here, so.
My 4 is CHA, Vertex, Left Field, and NV5. Is that the 4 that everybody else came up with?
Nope.
You got 3 of the 4.
We got 3 out of the 4.
I got 2 of those.
So left field was the number 1 vote getter, if you would, with 9. And then actually it's, with 9. Vertex, CHA was second with 8. Dorr and Whittier was third with 7. And Vertex was 4th with 6. We then went to Collier's with 4, CBI with 1, Hill with 1, and NV5 with 2, if you add Chris to it. There was 1 before that comment. So in my eyes, and out of the Collier's 4, if the list of 1, 2, 3 were by rank, those 4 were number 3s on people's list. There were 3 3s and a 2. So they got no 1 votes unless I didn't read, people's choices right. So it came pretty clear to me that there were 4 groups that probably should get interviewed. That would be left field, Vertex, CHA, and Dorr and Whittier. But I'm open for discussion if anybody wants to jump in and feel strong about any of the others or their choice, or have an open discussion.
Chris?
I just, I'm just thinking back to this pre-study that we did at the high school with Dorr and Whittier, and I had the impression that, overall, we were not particularly happy with them. We had to ask them to fix this and fix that, we weren't, it was hard to get the information we thought we were supposed to get. Am my memory wrong on that?
I don't remember it that way. I mean, there was 1 member of their team I wasn't real thrilled with, but I thought the exercises they did and the feasibility study that they ended up with was pretty good.
I thought, I liked the exercises that we had in the cafeteria, and I thought that was all well done, but I thought the end product that we were generally not that happy with, but I'm okay with those 4.
Yeah, I mean, and remember, we're not telling any of these 4 where they came in or how many people picked them. We're just asking them now to come at a later time and present. And then at that point, we have a criteria sheet that was actually in the application that we'll fill out. We'll communicate, go right through the checks and minuses, and that evening, hopefully come up with one that we could negotiate with. And if you then negotiate properly, then, which Joe's pretty good at, we end up with an OPM. But this just gives them an opportunity to talk to us.
Yeah, all this is for the interviews, nothing else. Can we have any further discussion regarding whether to have 4 groups interviewed? Anybody have an objection to that?
I think 4 is an appropriate number.
Okay.
Does anybody that voted for Collier who came in 5th want to make a plea to have 5?
I thought it was odd that they opened their whole packet with changes to our contract.
Well, that's CBI.
No, that was Collier's too, I think.
That's
I don't know.
Collier's too? I've got them right
Collier,
here.
yeah.
Whatever.
All right, that'd be one reason not to have them.
He likes the
I
design
agree with
build
that.
versus
That
the
is-
CM at risk.
So if there's no objection, why don't we just have a quick motion, Chip, as to have 4 interviews?
Sure, I move that we accept our findings that Left Field, Vertex, CHA, and Doran Whittier will be invited to present on another night that we will discuss.
Do I have
Second
a
that.
second?
Second.
Second by Jerry. Does anybody object to that? I don't even need a voice, a
I don't,
roll
yeah,
call.
I'm not even sure we need a vote, but
Yeah. So there's no objection to that. We're going to do 4 interviews. The question I have now is when?
so Joe, just let me ask you one question, because you said something to me before, that the advisory committee was going to get a voice.
Yes,
I'm not sure they voiced anything
they did not yet because they have not been selected.
officially.
Officially, correct.
Okay.
So
Because-
question, when you say they have a voice, the voice is when we do the interviews.
Correct.
It wasn't to choose these 4 that we've chosen.
Well,
No.
they're going to be an advisory committee. So the advisory committee will have a voice, not a vote.
Correct. In accordance with our changed bylaw, which will have no further comment on. Because this is recorded. All right.
Any idea when you'll have these interviews? Because I'm sure you've all noticed that I'm leaving Wakefield as of October 31st, so I will not be allowed to participate in this group. Will you get it done before then or after?
Before.
But Chris, I would think that with you stepping down, which I'm sorry to hear you are, I hope everything's okay and I wish you well, but I'm not, if you're not going to be here for the full process, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with you voting on this.
Okay, whatever you guys
I
want
mean,
to do.
However you feel. We haven't talked about it, but that would be my opinion. Because I think somebody should vote that's going to be here through the process.
That's
And
fine.
we might not be able to.
I'm assuming that Phil just will take my position at that point.
Well, it'll go through the town council. They'll have to appoint someone. If you resign.
Do you want me to resign earlier, sooner than later then, to make that faster, or what's the easiest thing for you guys?
I think it might be easier to resign earlier so that we could have a full complement of the 9 when we do the voting. And I don't mean it I'm not taking it personally, Chris. I'm
No,
not
I get
demanding
that.
you
No,
resign.
That's why I asked the question.
Or he can vote so that we have a full 9. I appreciate Chris's vote and opinion. I don't think he would do anything to hurt the town on his way out. He's been way too faithful, and I bet you I can figure out where he lives or going to live.
I'm up in Portsmouth.
So I'm comfortable with Chris voting on. I mean, our thought, Chris, was a week from this coming Tuesday. This being Thursday, so that would be Tuesday,
October 6th.
October 6th.
Well, that conflicts with my last school committee meeting, but that's okay.
Well, because we have a problem on the 1st because of finance committee's meeting.
So maybe that helps make the decision. I don't know.
Because you won't be here on this. You won't be there on the 6th.
Why don't we discuss? Give me a call tomorrow.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
But as a preamble, guys, what we're thinking of doing is Joe would send out notification to these 4. We would have them prepare a 15-minute presentation.
10.
Joe's thinking 2. So a 10-minute presentation, 10-minute Q&A, and then we can discuss amongst ourselves for 10 minutes. And so giving each person a slot, and then they would get off, we'd get the next one on and go like that, proceed through. So it would be about a 2-hour meeting with, quite frankly, a quick presentation because they've already put a bunch in the book. So get to know the people.
How does everybody feel about that? Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
Honestly, just being somebody that's given presentations, I mean, I appreciate that we're trying to keep it short in respect for everybody's time, but that is tough to do something in that short of a time frame for a presentation to hear what their plans are.
What do you think's realistic, Jerry?
I mean, I think if you did like
20's enough with a 10-minute Q&A?
I think that's probably better.
Okay.
It's still going to be a 2-hour meeting.
It's definitely going to be a 2-hour meeting because like I mean, it always runs a little bit over, but.
I was also thinking, Chip and Jerry and everybody, that I would have a contact phone call, person waiting on the phone so that the next person, I would call them and then they would come on to the Zoom meeting rather than a set time.
Yeah, that's probably because you don't want them calling in at the same time that you're on with somebody else.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Does that make sense to everybody?
Is it possible to do like a waiting room in Zoom where you allow the next person in? Something like that?
Right. I thought the host has to do that.
I'm doing the quote unquote host for the first time.
Nope.
And it's really working well.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Chip. So the bottom line is, I think to make it easier, I'll just have a phone call. They'll have a phone that I can call them to say you're coming on now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please join the meeting.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have a team of. They're going to have a group of 4 or 5 people.
Yeah, and if we go long on somebody, that'll happen maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, do you think it's worth sending them, sort of a upfront information saying for the presentation and that we've got your books, right? So we know the background of the company and all that. We don't need the first 7 slides that you normally do when you're going in trying to get a job.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Try to be, we've already read all your proposals. You don't need to repeat it.
Yeah.
Trying to find out about the people. see
Yeah.
who we can work with, how it's gonna go.
Okay.
Should we
So
try to
is
start it
everybody okay
early?
with the 6th of October?
Should we try to start it earlier than 7, like 6 instead?
I'm tough to make 6.
Yeah, some
Right.
people are tough. Yeah, I don't want to. Let's make it 7.
I'm not working it from home. I know Jerry's not working from home. I don't know what others are doing, so I'm much more comfortable being able to not rush and be here for 7.
Yep. No, just thought that.
That's okay. All right. All right. Any other questions regarding the OPM? By the way, some of them were on listening.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I think everybody did. They're not on now. Because the ones I think that are not on now are the ones that didn't get selected. I don't know. All right.
Good thing we didn't say anything disparaging.
No, well, we did on one, but that's okay.
True.
Having changes to the contract on your third page is not something that on a legal thing is not something that I was too happy with.
It's constructive criticism is all it is.
Yeah, the hell of them. Okay. Last agenda item, Joe, are you still with us?
I am still here.
All right, Joe, sorry. I'm glad you enjoyed hopefully our last 39 minutes.
Very educational. Thank you.
All right. All right, the last one is the DPW facility. As you may recall, what is this, Joe? About a year ago, the town meeting approved $100,000 for a feasibility study.
Yes.
I don't recall, is it the exact thing is to just to determine if a garage would fit on the North Avenue site? Is that what the purpose of the feasibility study was?
So yes, essentially. So this feasibility study was basically brought to the town. If you've heard any of the scuttlebutt, there was some talk about potentially the state getting behind a joint facility up in the area adjacent to Camp Curtis Guild. That's kind of gone nowhere. So at the time, my predecessor, Rick Stinson, with the condition of our building deteriorating faster than any movement on that other front, brought this feasibility study to town meeting. So this would basically be to study the existing site and see, what our options might be for recreating a facility there, and to also probably, I think, like the public safety building feasibility study that was just out, to look at the potential if there is an alternate site in town where, the facility could be moved to that's more advantageous to the town. But
So was that part of the vote in town meeting?
I don't have.
You just need to look at the wording to make sure that the scope is inclusive.
Right. I was worried about that.
Which is fine.
Joe.
You don't need to do that now. I'm hoping, Joe, by the way, that it is, both Joes, that it does include being able to look at a potential another site. I'm just thinking that's kind of short money to do site and building.
Right. I have that answer on my machine.
Yeah, don't worry. It doesn't need to be now. We just need before we move much further forward.
Sure. So other than that, I'm here to represent Public Works. The council's gotten the subcommittee recommendation. So they're going through the process of swearing in the folks that need to be sworn in and making sure they're up to date on their conflict of interest training. And the document, the RFP, is basically drafted. I got to update a couple of dates in it, but I can turn it over to the permanent building committee and you guys can review it, comment on it, and we could be ready to go, at least on my end, probably relatively quickly. But I'm here for you guys to dictate what the logistics of this next step might be.
Well, I think that makes sense, Joe, that you get the version of the RFP.
Yep.
After we've looked at and make sure about the wording of the town meeting article. And then once we're able to do that, then I suggest we I'll send it out to everybody to see, you know, if everyone agrees on the RFP, and then we can have a vote on it. Maybe even, no, probably not by the 6th, but at our next meeting.
We should be able to vote on it by the 6th. If
We might, it depends if it gets done in
Do
time.
you have the RFP done?
Essentially, I'll just go through it one more time just to make sure all the i's are dotted and the t's are crossed. But I could, Joe, I'm going to assume that I'm probably going to send that to you to distribute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you send it to me and I'll send it out.
I could probably have that to you Monday afternoon, Tuesday the latest.
That'd be great. Okay, then we would have time. If that timing is there, then everybody will have a chance to look at it prior to the interview night, and then we can have a quick discussion of it at that time as well. All right?
Yeah, Joe, I'm assuming you took the RFPs that was for this, for all the other feasibility stuff that we've done, that's come out of your office.
The scope changes and the title changes, but
But
a
the
lot of the
volume
language
is there.
remains the
Yeah,
same.
right.
If we don't have to reinvent the wheel, we're going to try not to.
Yeah, so the
Yep.
biggest thing is just to make sure the scope is within the framework of what town meeting voted.
I'll include the warrant article too, just for transparency.
Yeah,
so
the
everybody
warrant
can-
article is what you'd find. That'd be the one to take the wording from.
Yeah,
Not a problem.
yeah, send that to me with the RFP, Joe.
Will do.
Okay,
Awesome. Thank you guys very much.
thanks a lot, Joe. All right,
Yep.
anybody have any questions before Joe? Or we all sign off and have dinner or whatever. All right?
So
Any
just
other-
just for a review, our next meeting will be Tuesday, October 6th.
Correct.
Will we be doing any invoices, or will that strictly be for, I think that's strictly for the OPM interviews, correct?
Correct.
And then what will we need?
I don't think
Another
we'll have any,
meeting?
I don't think we'll have any invoices by then.
No, we'll probably have it towards the end of October.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'd want to approve anything. We start seeing what the cleaning is going to be on that roof.
Oh, we're not, now we're into a hold pattern, yeah.
You're not going to get invoices ready and approval by then, especially
Okay.
for Greenwood. You might get a PMA or Gale, but at that point, I'll just hold off. So
Yeah, okay. All right, thanks, Anthony.
Perfect, thanks, Anthony.
All right.
Anthony, are we still having Thursday meetings, or is that done now?
we're still having them. I mean, it's easy for everyone to join in remote. If you guys want to, don't want to join, I'm happy to provide a, status update in an email. There's really not a lot to talk about besides gravity vents, the railings, punch list items,
Yeah.
cleaning. So it's status quo really, but we're going to still have them until the job's complete.
Oh, I did circle the building today, as I said I would.
Yeah.
I think with a building that age, I would not put any acid or try to do any more
Yeah.
cleaning.
I did see him
I
scrub
think
it
the
like
grout
3
would fall out.
times.
I think the grout would fall out of the brick.
I think he's unhappy with me that I made him scrub it 3 times, but
Yeah. So no, I think 3 times was probably pretty good, but
Yeah.
it's unless you're looking for it, it doesn't jump out at you.
correct. And I really only think it was one of the areas is what I noticed. But
Yeah, I mean, I probably saw the same area, but I was looking for something.
Yeah.
It's up there.
exactly, yeah.
Okay,
All right, anything else?
I move that we adjourn.
I hope that there's a second.
Second.
Guys, thank you,
I
everything.
assume no objection. And Chris, before we go out, thank you once again for everything.
No, you're welcome, and I'll, even if it's easier for everybody to come off by the 6th, I'll try to watch and see what you're doing. I'll do.
Sorry you're
what's
leaving the
going on.
town. I'm sorry you're leaving, Chris.
Thank you. I'll still be in town every day for work, so,
Take care, buddy.
You can't move the building, huh?
no.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Good night, everyone.
Guys,
All
have a
right.
good